Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to this Swindon Town Fans Forum. We're delighted to have your company, not only here in the room, but also we're streaming as well. So thank you very much indeed for your company. Lots to get through in the next couple of hours or so. Let's start off by introducing the top table. First of all, the Academy Manager, Alex Pike. Congratulations on that fabulous 2-0 win against Manchester United. Good luck on Friday at Sunderland.
Followed in by the women's first team manager, Richard Wood.
Great win of the weekend as well. And you might well have noticed this chap in the dugout on Saturday, the interim first team head coach, Mr. Gavin. Woo!
Followed by the women's head of football, Mrs. Mandie.
Next in, somebody who's having a busy few weeks, I think it's fair to say, our head of football, Jamie Russell.
Jay, keep the applause going, guys. Followed in by our CEO, Mr. Anthony Hall. Keep the applause going.
Our Chief Commercial Officer, Mr. James Watt.
And I don't know how to introduce this fella. I think he's from Australia. It's our chairman, Mr. Clem Morfuni. Welcome, guys. Just to start the evening off, what we're going to do before we go into the Q&A with a few, Clem is going to do a little PowerPoint presentation just to reiterate on things and where we're up to. It's not really Clem's thing. He doesn't like getting like he always says to me, "You love it, Kingy, don't you?" But but you're good at it. So please, round of applause for your chairman, Mr. Clem Morfuni, please. It's on. Yeah, it's on. Yeah.
I'd just like to thank everybody coming here tonight. Just want to thank everyone, and we're just going to do a presentation and then we're going to ask questions. So, do you want to start now, Phil?
Yeah, you carry on. Have you got a clicker presentation? You're going to talk through it?
No,
can we dim the lights a little bit? Is that possible, yeah? Can't kill that one. It's on TV. Stop.
It is. No touching, please. Are you going to get it on? Bailed. We just want to go through what we've done in the last 2.5 years, what we've done right and what we've done wrong. We've done some good things and we've done some bad things, so we just want to go through it. Obviously, we bought the county ground, purchased about in March.
In March this year, 24th.
So, which was a great event for both of us in regards to the club and the supporters. So we bought that in March. We resolved the historical debts, which was roughly nearly £8 million. So we had to get rid of that, which was a good event for us to get rid of that, to get base for our foundation. We have a monthly advisory board meetings every month. I think we've had 27 at the time, so we do that with the Supporters Trust and the Supporters Club. We go through that and there's minutes in the meeting. I don't take any salaries or personal fees out of the club. Anthony can vouch that I work day and night on this club.
7 days a week, yeah. Congrats.
So for us, we want to make this club sustainable, so I've promised to do that. Filing the full annual accounts, which we do that, we've done that. But we're getting fair game to come in to have a look at our books to see what they're doing.
Just to give us a complete independent review, so there's no more sort of ambiguity around figures and numbers, so that'll be going ahead in the coming months.
And the infrastructure investment, where we're putting money into the stadium, which we've done on the roof, the shop, the junior reds, and we're putting more money into that. So this is an ageing stadium, so we're doing that. And the management structure review, which we're doing that, we're reviewing that all the time. So obviously we're trying to get increased fan engagement, which we're trying to do that constantly with the monthly advisory board meetings and more engagement on that. And obviously media outlet engagement, which I'm trying to do a lot better. I did 5 interviews last week, so we're trying to do that. Things we haven't done is quarterly management accounts, but we're getting Fair Game to come in to go through our books to give an independent review on our accounts. Frequent questions and frequent asked questions. Running costs. Everyone's asking us why the running costs have cost a lot higher. We got Fair Game coming in, going through those costs, and we're going to get an audit done. Obviously the debentures, we had 3 days to sort out the debentures, which was £2.95 million, which we were 3 days away from going into administration. So we had to sort them out. Obviously I sold a couple of shares to get rid of that. Yeah. Look, I'm trying to go back and trying to buy the shares back at the moment. So we're reviewing that.
Well, we thought we had a competitive budget at the start of the season. Obviously things didn't work out with a change of manager now. We have been active in the transfer market.
It's not a competitive budget, is it? We're under a transfer embargo, so it can't be competitive.
Let's just let them speak, guys, for now. And then we'll come to the questions after.
We're going to talk about the embargo. Our long-standing commercial deals haven't been favourable for the club, so we're going through them. They're going to take till 18 months. We've got some commercial deals which are good. We've been asked about ticketing. Obviously we're going to freeze the season tickets this year or next year, and our match day tickets we're going to probably reduce. We will reduce. Our international academy, we've got an academy that we're looking at in Australia, Karachi, New Zealand and America. Do you want to talk about the embargo?
We've got the embargo, which obviously has been released by EFL at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We did try to appeal that. It hasn't affected the business that we've done throughout the transfer window. We've got 6 signings that have come in so far. We're looking to bring a couple more in. I think, as we all know, the transfer market's fluid and things do change, but hopefully we're going to have a couple of players in. So this transfer window we have been allowed for, but that is not effective going forward. There's one more that has been suspended for the summer transfer window, and that's coming to where we are with the embargo.
Jamie, you want to do the what's our opinion?
Yeah, do you want to go? Should we go around?
You okay, guys? Can you see the screens there? Yeah.
Not sure. This one on?
Yeah, carry on.
So, what we'd like to take a moment to do now is just talk about our identity. So something that we've done recently, obviously with Jamie coming in through the academy, going into head of football, and then myself going into academy management, was really focus on what it means to be Swindon Town. Now, I hope a lot of people in the room can relate to what this is. So through being a representative as a fan or a player or someone that has worked for the football club. So it's something that we've actually spent quite a lot of time doing in-house, to figure out what it means and to figure out who we are. So how we break it down, and this visual breaks it down quite nicely, is at the top there you can see 3 words. Now those 3 words we feel are what it is to be us. So is it an academy boy? Is it an academy member of staff? Is it someone for the women's team? Is it someone in the first team? Those words are to be industrious, to be adventurous, and also to be humble, so to show humility. So we think then that that's a great foundation to now build into the environment that we're trying to create. So if you have those 3 values, you then unlock the next layer. So the next layer is your culture and your DNA. We then feel that if you unlock your culture and your DNA, that brings the identity. So the identity on the pitch, the identity of an individual, which then creates that togetherness. So on to values.
So obviously a lot of this work started 2 years ago, and like the big thing for me was what we were and what we are and what do we want to be going forward. And I think we're in a fantastic position now with Gav, because Gav lives everything that we're doing in the academy. Gav came from the first team environment into the academy and kind of really got a good feel of what it looked like at under 9 through to under 18, and then to work with the under 21, well, the under 19 boys that were out on loan, and obviously with Tommy and with Connor as well, touching base with them, and Ricky within their loan spells. So the big thing that we have is our strapline is embracing our history and empowering our future. That's something that goes through from the academy right through the club. So Alex touched on our 3 values, and you'll see as Bailey goes through these slides, we have kind of 3 elements that make up each value. So we haven't just thought of 3 random words. We've tried to pick words that work with the club, but then through this, it allows us to work with the young players, work with staff around what each value represents. So for us to be industrious, we obviously have to be hardworking, because we represent you, hardworking supporters from a railway town. We have to be motivated, and we have to be resilient. Not everything is going to be easy. Not everything is going to go our way. And if we can ingrain that into our young academy players and into our current first team players and into staff, then everyone is going to be industrious and make the club better. Curious, brave and creative are what we look for when we're being adventurous. We know where we are as a football club, and we know that some of the things that we have to do to get by and to get forward. So we have to be adventurous, we have to find different ways, we have to be creative. Finally, humility. So integrity, honest, and to show compassionate, okay? The academy boys will have workshops on each value and the 3 supporting areas. Because what industrious looks like to a 9-year-old is completely different to what industrious looks like to Henry, to Gav, to myself. So they have to understand what it looks like at that moment, so then they can show that skill. Thanks, Bailey. From that, Alex is unbelievable on the laptop. We did a little bit of moving around, but we wanted something that showed our values on the badge. So everywhere around the academy, within this building now, we have our values on the badge. And we're proud of those values, and we want to make sure that everyone who's in the building and who's in the ground lives those values on a day-to-day basis. Because that's something that we can hold each other accountable to. And that's something for us to move forward, we have to do that.
So if you click through all 3. So now looking at philosophy and how it links into the football and what you see on the pitch. So we believe that within the first third, we need to be organised. I think we displayed that quite well on the weekend. Middle third is relentless, and then final third ruthless. So through the thirds of the football pitch, that's what we're looking to achieve. So again, linking in with what Jamie was just talking about, what does it look like for the under-9s? What does it look like for 10s, 11s, 12s? All the way through to the first team and the women's team, there is now a collective philosophy and identity on the football pitch which should resemble those 3 words there.
I think the big thing now is obviously the last 2 weeks that Gav's been in, we've brought that straight in. So to be organised at the back, it's 106 days since we kept a clean sheet. That's not acceptable. And the first thing that we managed to do, and Gav did a lot of work around, was just being organised. Being able to adapt from a back 3 to a back 4. People taking more responsibility for what they're doing. Obviously we brought Conor McCarthy in because we knew what he would bring. He is organised, he is our values. The people that we've brought into the club are the right people. And we do a lot of work around the people that we're bringing into the club because they're representing us. Being relentless, that's the staff on a day-to-day basis because everyone is so hard working in this club. But it's also players on the pitch being relentless with the ball and being relentless without the ball. So our midfield 3 on Saturday were possibly the hardest working 3 because we want them to get up and down the pitch. We want them to support Charlie and the forward players, but we also want them to come and get the ball off the defensive unit as well. And then in the final third, if we don't score goals, we're not going to win games. So we have to be ruthless. We have to take chances. We have to show that ability to get in front of goal and have that shot. Not shy away from it, not back away. Take the responsibility up. Nothing better than Charlie hitting that first penalty that smashed into the back of the net. What a great start that was for Saturday, and it was a great start for Gav and the team to get through. And more importantly, keep that first clean sheet. Cheers, pals.
Am I going DNA? So again, something that we really thought about recently, and it's very easy to think football club and just football. But there's a lot of other departments and a lot of other things that go into help shape people in our environment, as well as football players. So if I was talking from an academy perspective, it would be how do you help shape a young person, a young football player, and then what that looks like in terms of a performance, so linking back in to our DNA. So breaking those 3 things down there allow us to, 1, help a young individual around values. So let's say on an academy boys journey, an academy boys journey might take them somewhere else. Well, we'd hope, given the values and the environment that we have, they'd take those values somewhere else and be able to apply them somewhere else. So lessons that they've learned here, or exposures that they've had, or experiences that they've had, are things that they've then got locked in for life. So they can always look back fondly on things that we've done. Anything to add?
I just touch on obviously the boys that we've brought in during this transfer window. Bailey does a lot of work on social media, and I don't know if we call it almost stalking, but everyone who we bring into the club, we try and get to really get a good feel of who they are and what they put out. So we look at their personal life. You know, what is it? Is it a beer on a Saturday night with their mates, or is it actually, you know, doing some extra S&C work? Is it doing some meditation work? Is it maybe doing something in the community? Is it maybe furthering their education and doing a degree or a master's degree? So we really get to know the person that's coming into the environment, because we've got to give Gav every possible opportunity to succeed. And to do that, he's got to have people that want to learn and get better. But also, more importantly, they're going to represent us in the right way. So, just touching on what Al said there, it goes right throughout the club. And that's the biggest thing now, that we do have that golden thread that starts from under-9s right through to first team, and then comes back from first team right the way down to under-9s. Well, pre-academy, under-7s.
I think what I'd do before that is actually talk a little bit about performance. So a performance that we can all relate to, so as fans, what that looks like. So what we're watching on a Saturday, or if it's academy or the women's team on a Sunday, is it relatable? Is it front foot? Is it aggressive? Are we demonstrating the DNA as well? Are we being adventurous, or are we being brave to play forward? So it's about something that we can all come to and we can all look at, and back to identity, relate to, which I think is massively important if we're going to create that togetherness. as a football club and fan base also. And vision over to you.
Yeah, obviously we have an academy performance plan for the academy, but we've also got a professional development plan now that integrates the first team and the women's team and the development women's team. So we have 2 documents now that kind of work hand in hand. As a club, we have a vision. So at Swindon Town Football Club, we envision a future where we are fueled by industrious dedication and adventurous ambition. Our commitment to high performance extends beyond the pitch as we aspire to be an inspiration and source of pride for our community. We envision a club that not only thrives competitively but also leads the way in financial sustainability, guided by a commitment to our core beliefs and values. And I think that's the biggest thing as an academy and what we're developing. We're developing young people that might not be a footballer, but what else can they be within the community, that they still have that pride, live our values and want to develop and further themselves. For us, an academy player that goes on to own his own barbershop is just as much a success as someone who gets on the pitch and plays in front of you, because they have done something with themselves and we've helped as part of that journey develop them. As a club, we also have a mission statement. Our mission at Swindon Town Football Club is to rise through the Football League with a relentless pursuit of success on and off the field. We embrace the values of industry, adventure and humility as the driving force beyond our actions. We are dedicated to the financial sustainability, ensuring the club's long-term success is protected. With humility, we acknowledge our responsibility to be role models, leaders, and contributors to the Swindon community. Together, we build a future where Swindon Town stands as an example of what can be achieved through hard work, togetherness, and deep commitment to our values. And I think that's the big thing there, togetherness, that word. I don't know if anyone will have actually seen it, but there was a paragraph, a sentence above the tunnel. Can anyone, Henry, can you remember what it was? Because I know we talked about it. So we changed it. It was something about dreams and different things like that. But we just simply changed it to together, because that's what we want. We want everyone in here to be together. And if everyone's pushing together and everyone's going in the same direction, it can only take this club to where we want it to go. Okay, so we've talked about players, we've talked about staff. We have succession planning across the academy, and obviously within a club, especially like a Category 3 academy or a club that's in League 2, you're pretty much always looking to replace in a positive way. So who is already showing the ability to move through? So one of the big things that we did straight away was we wanted a chart that showed what our first team was. So we've gone through 5 areas. So our current first team staff, we look at youth, we look at development, we look at peak, we look at experience, and we look at ageing. So that represents our current first team squad. So you can see where it's quite top heavy, and then you can also see one person that's up the other end. Okay? So we know that as this conveyor belt starts, we've got players that move through. So next year we'll have players that will move into the experience section. You'll also see how top heavy it is at 22. Now previous recruitment, anything under 21 doesn't come out of the football budget. Yeah.
Does that include loan players?
Yes, so loans are in green.
Then there's no point in putting the loan players on there because they go back to somebody else.
Yeah, but it's just showing you where they are, because if we're brought in two players at 25, then that means that they're bringing in a lot more than a development
We're
player.
training them for somebody else.
I completely agree with you, and we've had this conversation with the EFL. We should get our players. We get compensation fee if someone obviously takes one of our players. We should get a development fee if we take a loan player, make them better. Because obviously with Jake Young and Dan Kemp, We've definitely made them better.
Without them, we'd be in relegation. They've helped us.
Exactly. So it's a two-way, but yeah, but if you can't go through without making money, and it's a business at the end of the day. And if it's compensation or training compensation, we've given them valuable game experience that they wouldn't have got at their club. 100%. Yeah.
Well, you're not allowed to buy any players because you're under no market.
Hang on, we'll ask those questions in a minute. Just let them continue. Come on.
So, when we're talking about succession planning, we've got Powell there, who's now a forward player. We would look from the academy right through to see who will be like the next Powell. So what it looks like at under 12, 13, 14, 15. So our player that we're trying to push through, and in an ideal world we'd have one at 12, one at 14, one at 16 and one at 18, so we can move them across and push them and develop them. Everything that we look for there from a technical point of view, so key defensive attributes, attacking attributes, psychological and physical, that is what we would look for the players in that position. Not all positions, but that certain position. So just a quick one, just where staff have come across the academy. So obviously Alex first started as a part-time academy coach, then he went on to lead the foundation phase, now he's academy manager. Bailey, who's over there, came in as assistant club secretary. Well, he's done loads of roles, to be honest. Now he's within the academy, and now he's in terms of the football operation. So it's a big, big role now for Bailey, but he's worked through and's got a real good understanding of everything that goes across the academy. Myself, I came in as academy director, and now come into head of football. And then at the bottom, Woody. So foundation phase lead coach, moved on to YDP, and now he's moved on to the PDP lead coach. So he's had a quite straightforward route of succession within the club.
What is head of football?
What is head of football?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Bringing together academy, bringing together the women's programme, bringing together the first team programme. Like I said, so we've got a golden thread that runs straight through the club. So there's nothing separate within the club. Everyone understands what the club is from an under 9 to a first team player.
This is a 1, 3 and 5 year plan, year 1. Push for promotion to League 1 this year. We've got 51 points to play for. We're pushing hard for it. Obviously we've got Gav, we've got a lot of faith and trust in Gav. Sitting down with Jamie and Bailey regarding players. So we're pushing for promotion for League 1 for year 1. We've agreed stadium redevelopment plans with the JV. We've got a meeting tomorrow about it. We're going to present to the JV what our plans are. So hopefully we'll get that approved and then we'll submit it to the fans. Continued discussions around the future training facilities for all 3 branches of the football club. So doing that. Off-field operations stabilised with sound progress in place. Lines of communications with key community outlets as well.
Moving on to year 3, being established League 1 club. Women's team in tier 3. Academy laying foundations for category 2 status. Underway with stadium redevelopment work. Have all 3 branches of the club training out at the same venue. Outdated commercial deals replaced with deals more favourable to the club. Regular and consistent community engagement, including key events being communicated.
Year 5, push for promotion from League 1. In Tier 2 for women's football. The academy beginning to apply for a Category 2 status. Stadium redevelopment progressing. increased commercial deals that come with position in the Football League. Thank you.
Can we have the lights back on, please, guys? Vic, you coming back up?
I'm here.
Where are you?
Here.
I know there's a little bit of rumblings in the room, but let's have a lot of respect, please, whilst we're here. Very rare do you see a chairman, see all these people, members of this club staff, in something like this. You very rarely get to sit and talk to the chairman. So,
And don't
Gav,
worry, there will be
there are
time for
questions. So let's
on the
just
floor.
respect them. Off the back of that, Gav, can you grab a mic, please? I know you're a little bit shy, but Saturday's performance at home, 2-0, clean sheet. I know Bradford was shit, but that's another story. But what a fantastic start for you.
Yeah, listen, you can say Bradford was shit, but that's the standard of League Two now, is it? I think that's got to be a realism of the level that you're at, and putting a structure in place of how we want to play, being harder to beat, being better on the eye. Just putting everything in alignment from top to bottom. I think it's key for the players to create a learning environment where they can strive and bring them younger lads through and help them improve as players and people.
And how were you impressed with the new signings?
Fantastic. I think the club's done so well. I think Jamie and Les Caffrey deserve massive
credit.
I think he's on the new signings of the mentality. No, to be fair, yeah, the new signing's fantastic. I think the likes of Glatzel, Dawson Devoy, McCarthy, even young Farrell come on and do well. I've missed someone now. Who have I missed?
No, you're doing well. You carry on.
Connor, fantastic. The goalkeeper.
Brilliant save.
To be fair, some of these players, like we got to realise that they're without the contacts of Jamie and Les, they would never have come to Swindon, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. And I have to say, I mean, played a bit of football, you know, speak to other managers, trying to get players to come out of clubs nowadays, they're either on so much money or they don't want to play football. You phone up and say, can I take him to your club? Oh, my missus has got shopping on a Monday. Kids go to ballet on the Tuesday, it's my day off Wednesday. Players don't want to play football anymore. There's no reserve leagues. It's annoying and it's tough for these guys. So the recruitment's been fantastic, Gav. As you know, you'll be well aware, I spoke to a few managers I know in the game. To get players to come, they're just happy to sit on the backside and pick up the money. It's a joke, some of it. So, Gav, thanks for answering that question. Thank you. Yeah, why not? Cheers, Gav.
Right, Clem and Anthony, you touched on in the presentation. You might have heard one or two questions from over there regarding the EFL statement this afternoon. Can you clarify exactly what it is? Because as I understand it, I'm a simple chap, regarding receiving on transfer, loan fees, etc., because of late payments to HMRC and an unspecified club. Is that about the bottom line?
Answer yourself. Clem, you answer. The question for Clem. Yes.
Well, both of you. Either of you. Answer.
Clem, please.
You are correct, Vic. It's because of late payments to HMRC and another gate levy. That's the reason for the ban. Originally it was the 3-window ban. We appealed that because we thought it was disproportionate to the offence committed. EFL's recognised that to a point where it banned us for this transfer window from buying players. It hasn't prevented us from doing our loans, selling players if people have seen people coming in and go. So yes, it's annoying, it's disappointing. We put that right going forward. And we are, as I say, this transfer window only. So I will clarify, we are under suspension for the summer window.
So suspended one for the summer window. So will you be able to sign players for fees in the summer window?
Yes, we will.
You will. Clem, how did this come about?
Look, it was a ministry error.
Hang on, let him answer. You wanted the question asked, let him
Do you
answer.
want me to answer it or not, or do you want to just laugh at me? Like, at the end of the day, look,
Okay.
Hang on, let him
I never
answer.
created this mess, I'm trying to clean it up at the end of the day. We had £8 million worth of debt, right, which I had to clean up, right? So what was that, sorry?
Put up the sale then. See what happens.
It isn't as easy as that.
Look, you want him to answer the questions, okay?
Listen,
So let him answer.
listen, I take
right?
the blame for it. I made a mistake, right? So at the end of the day, I'll take it on the chin. I haven't got a problem if I make a mistake. I apologise for it, right? Running this club is not easy. I totally agree, but we all suffer at the end of the day. We all got to work together. If we want to get out of this league, we need to all stick together. If we don't stick together, we're never going to get out of this league. Yeah, and we're still putting money into it. We're still putting millions of pounds into this club. This club is not sustainable, I'll tell you that now. This club is not sustainable. You can get fair game in here and you can have a look at the numbers. Yes, you can. There's no reason why we can't. I'll tell you that now. There's no reason why you can't get out of this league and make it sustainable. What was that, sorry? Listen, we're getting the auditors in for last year's figures, I'll tell you that now. Because we don't believe that the figures are correct. We need to go through all the financials out of this.
Hang on, this is just, look, there are so many questions coming in. If you want to appoint a spokesperson to answer last one question, oh sorry, do apologise, bit of a late tackle. One person to ask a question and allow him to answer, alright? Hang on.
What was your question over here? So about the former chairman?
Yeah, what about the previous chairman? I don't want to mention his name. Why weren't you accountable for all the debt that claimants have to pay off?
Why wasn't Lee Power accountable for the former debt that you've had to pay off?
I'd like to know that too as well. But this is a company. So the company takes the responsibilities, not Lee Power. I take the responsibility because I've taken over the club. When the EFL gave £1 million to Lee Power, the club has to pay it, not Lee Power. All the debt, there was £8 million worth of debt. I never created this mess. I'm trying to clean it up, and we've still got 3 years. We've had 3 years of debt, and we're still trying to clean up the mess. It's £8 million, which we could have put it in the team. That's what the issue is.
Hang on.
I haven't got a problem. Listen, I haven't got a problem, you guys. No, we still got the EFL loan that we're still trying to pay. There's still money there that the EFL loan that we're still paying. It's a COVID loan. It has come down. It's come down to like £500,000 left. No, I'm not taking any money. I'm not taking any money, and I'm not putting any. No, I'm not going to take any money. I'm not owed any money. No, it's not. We're going to wipe off the debt. That's what's going to happen. This club costs £1 million a year to run.
Listen, lads, that's so...
Hang on. I did ask just a moment ago if you wanted to ask any questions. You said no. This gentleman put his hand up and said he did. So what's your question?
Yeah, I just want to know, so you said that you were owning up to mistakes with the recent EFL charge. Why are we only finding out about it today, when apparently it was known back in November, December time? You said back in December, November that there was going to be a competitive budget for January. You must have known that there was going to be a transfer embargo coming. We just want to know, when did you know and why have we only found out today?
We're in dispute. We're trying to fight it, so we're trying to push it out there, and we can't announce it until the EFL announces it.
Listen, hey lads, I get your passion. I'm a Swindon fan as well. We all are. But we're going to get nowhere by completely just... I mean, this man saved the club. I get it. You know, would you rather have a football club than, you know, we've got to support him. I know what you're saying, you're angry. I get it. We all get it. We're all angry. But we're not going to get anywhere by picking on him and so on. He's trying to do his best, and I think he is doing his best. It's not easy running a football club. Listen, if we could spend 10 million quid, look at Chelsea, £1 billion, they're middle of the league. You can't just keep throwing them at it. You've got to balance sustainability with the players, that I believe, anyway. Yes, sir.
A simple question.
Go on then.
How much has Swindon Town paid out in legal fees and fines?
How much has Swindon Town paid out in legal fees and fines?
Quite a lot, to be fair, but fair game will come out and give that. There's a lot of legal fees, there's still cases going on.
Pay the fines.
I think there's a little bit more to just the administration of what's happened recently. They've got historical issues that we're still dealing with at the moment. It's not just based on what's happened here, there are historical issues there that Clem's inherited and the club's inherited.
You admitted today it was an administration error, so you get fined. If you didn't
£2,000.
have the error, you wouldn't have the fine.
Yeah, but I've still got some legal issues that have left by Lee Power, not me.
I know you have.
I've still got a car wash that I've still find. I've still got a car in Switzerland, right, that I've got to fight. I didn't create this.
No, I understand.
All right.
I know more than you think.
What's that, sorry?
39 days late payment has come out today.
That's my fault. I'll take, look, it's my fault.
Lee Power's fault. This is your fault.
Yeah, this is my, yeah, that was my fault.
In December you said there was no missed HMRC payments, and now it goes up the risk.
Anthony Ewell said that they was paid on time. They weren't paid on time.
Anthony also said I'm a freeloader because I've got season tickets.
No, he never said you're a freeloader. We know how hard it is, the cost of living. The cost of living, that's why we're free. Let me finish, please. Let me finish. Like, we've frozen the season tickets because we know how hard it is out there for cost of living. We don't want to make it any more harder for you guys to come to football. We want you guys to come to football.
I'd rather pay 450 quid and have a decent team on the pitch.
So would I.
370 quid.
That doesn't always happen though. It's not about you paying more to get a better team. So let's give these guys a break. There are other people on the top 10. Gavin wants to say something, I think. Gav?
What is a decent team on the pitch?
Oh yeah, there you go. The gaffer's just said, what is a decent team on the pitch? When you look back though, lads, Nicky Flynn came in, 10 games in, third in the table, game in hand. I don't know, because we had Kempe, we had Yates, we had a couple of injuries, didn't we? We had a few bits of bad luck, you know. So, I mean, Gav...
The year before we had 33 players.
But let's be honest, if that was Stockport on Sunday, we get bad. It was a better performance, but it
I wish it was so easy.
Okay, let's you know what? I'm going to nail this freeloader thing, right? Hang on a minute. You've had your say. We've got you to ask your questions. I think you've had enough now. So let's.
Is this one on?
Can I nail?
Gav just wants to say, Gav, please.
Yeah.
So if Man City play against Luton and they win, or if Man City play against Arsenal and they win, what's the difference in the table?
We're struggling for the first year. My first year wasn't a struggle. It's getting worse every year now. We're getting worse. You can argue what you want.
Come out here then.
I don't need to argue it. It's like the thing is like the realism is in this league the budgets are like, you look at the teams at the top, their budgets are like monstrous. Yeah, that's obviously we got complacent. Listen, nobody was complaining at the start of the season. We were near the top of the league. We were world beaters. No,
I would say it probably does. Wrexham, £8 million. Top of the league.
Stockport, £6 million. Mansfield, 4.
Wrexham generate £27 million on a commercial basis. You know, they're going to fit in next year because it comes in the fair play rules, so it's going to be a struggle. But
also, Crew and Barrow, their budgets are not as big as ours. Well, exactly. So you're saying it's about budget, but is it? The realism is, it's to get players to buy into a structure and a philosophy out there. That's the end of it.
Right, anybody got any other questions? We're going to have a break in a second. Can we have something else that's going to lighten...
Hang on, let's go on over here then.
Not lighten the mood, but, you know, rather than...
Nick, what you got to say?
Okay, one sec.
Was the August transfer window affected by this embargo? Is that why we weren't able to sign Kemp and Young on a permanent basis, or was it loans because that's all the embargo would allow?
No.
I just think they came, like we, they did in the thing, we gave an opportunity window to Yates and Kemp. They took it with both hands. The club saw that and took them back. You know, it wasn't a case of not being able to, I'm sure the chairman and the gaffer would love to have kept them, but they went back. Would we have been able to sign them, or would they under the embargo? I think that's what they were asking, if potentially they would have.
August?
In August?
No.
Well, it could have been in August, no.
No.
January? No, we couldn't, because we didn't have the option. Not the embargo, they were just... They,
on loan, they were record.
Yeah, so, but if, I think he's saying
did
there was...
anybody know about Youngie and Kemp before they come here?
Yeah,
no one knew of these players before they came.
Yeah.
That's where you're at. Like,
looking at revenue streams, and every club needs a revenue stream, and we can't just rely on, you know, you guys, and think we need to get. And I think James is looking at. Obviously, we've got something coming up in the summer, concerts and other revenue streams. Can you tell us a little bit about that, James, and how that's going to?
Yeah, just to go with you guys over there, I get what you're saying about football budgets and things like that, and from our point of view, commercial revenue at a club like Swindon Town is massive because that goes into the playing budget. We touched on the presentation about historical commercial deals. I've been at the club 18 months. I can tell you when I walked through the door 18 months ago, we had commercial agreements in this club which actually cost us a lot of money. We've got rid of most of them now. We brought 17 new sponsors in during the summer, which I know most of you are having a bit of a laugh at on social media, another one. But I'll tell you, I'm relentless, and I'll keep going, and I'll keep going, getting more and more, because that goes into the playing budget, the commercial deals, and that will give Gavin more money. You talk about season tickets. We've got a very good season ticket offering. You can go and have a look at every club in League Two. The only club that have got a better deal than us on season tickets, we played on Saturday. So you can have a think of what you want about that. In terms of the concert, that is to drive the club another 6 figures commercially. This football club for too long has been based around, we play 23 to 30 matches at home, and that's the revenue. So from my point of view, since I've come in, which was last September, we're looking at ways that we can generate extra money, which could be boxing events, wrestling events, live events in here, concerts on the pitch. We could use the facilities outside. We brought in the lotto. There's a lot more to get to the level. We can't right now compete, and I'll be honest with you, Stockport have a multi-million-pound owner that runs a business called Vita. Vita are their main sponsors. They pump all the money in. Fleetwood last year and years before were bankrolled by a company called BES Gas, and now Andy Pilley has gone to prison because of that. So Swindon Town, from my point of view, I've been in football 12 years. I was at Newport County, I was at Hereford, and I've been at Swindon. I can tell you guys here that off the field, we are run quite well compared to League Two and National League. And you can quote me on this, League Two, National League club, Swindon Town is run very, very well. Obviously, like any football club, there are issues, and I'll be honest with you that, but the guys have told you today what they are. From our point of view, we've got to get to the level that we need to, and that is to bring more money in with more sponsorships. So this summer, I'll be looking to get stand naming rights. I'm looking to sell the naming rights of the stadium. We had conversations last year about that. We were offered money for the stadium naming rights, but one, I've got to look that the company that comes in and has the naming rights is correct, and two, I've got to make sure that it's a long-term deal that's 5 years to generate money and keep the county ground name in there. So basically, from my point of view, where we're talking about money, everyone on this table, and we've already touched on it, we're all pulling in the same direction. We're all looking to take the club forward. I've got a firm belief that Gavin can take us forward. He showed that on Saturday. His knowledge of this league is fantastic. And I just think that realistically, all I'm going to say to everyone in this room is, when we do events like concerts, when we do boxing events, when we do anything here, just to be as supportive as possible and try and help, because all of that money will go back in. One question that we are asked quite a lot is, have the football club put money into the concert rather than a playing budget? I can tell you categorically that is no. I have called in a lot of favours. my history before football was music. I was a nightclub promoter, an event promoter. I've gone and called in people who do arena tours to come and help us do this event. There will be an operational cost on the day, but have we paid for Chris Moyles to come here? No, we haven't. So don't think that we've paid for Chris Moyles over Dan Kemp, because we haven't. So realistically, that's and I read social media, guys. I'll tell you, if someone thinks that that's what we've done, that's not what we've done. So I just think all I'm going to say to every one of you is everyone on this table is pulling together. We're doing the best for your football club, for our football club. And if anyone can support all of the events, if you can support the STFC Lotto, which is £5 a month, that's going to be invested in things like we want to get a disabled lift in here for supporters. So every bit of additional revenue that we generate goes straight back into the football club. It's not going to anyone else. We're just trying to do as much as we can. And I'm an approachable guy. If you've got any ideas of generating money, just please come and see me, and we'll push this club together. But thank you for everyone's support.
Thank you, welcome. Vic, I believe you've got a question down there.
Yeah, I have. It's about recruitment. What's your question, sir?
I'd just like to ask, has there been a total change in emphasis? It's been pretty obvious sitting in the stands for over 55 years that the last 3 years we've been muscled pretty much all over the pitch. And as the manager, I like his attitude, this league's shite. So why don't we get some big lads? Funny enough, Saturday, 2 big lads come in, clean sheet. It's obvious that the other teams have got a lot of big lads, and the big lads have been dominated against us. So is there a definite change in philosophy now? I've seen all the words, I've seen it at corporate places over and over again. Is there a change in philosophy to get some muscle into the team?
We've got Jamie and we've got McGav to answer those questions, I guess. Head of football and the interim head coach. Who wants to take that one, Jamie?
Yeah, I think, like you just said there, League Two, it's obvious you need a blend of both, don't you? So you can't just be all young players. And then, like you saw with Bradford, you can't just be all big players. You've got to get that blend and you've got to get that mix right. So in certain areas of the pitch, you've got to be bigger, you've got to be stronger, you've got to be able to compete. And then in other areas of the pitch where you have to be relentless, like we talked about, you've got to be able to move in and out of possession. You don't really want big, heavy players in those positions. So it's not so much recruitment has changed. There's only a small group of us that do a lot of recruitment. We go and watch a lot of games, do a lot of video analysis, and talking to a lot of agencies. I think it's just been probably more realistic with what we need, and spending a lot of time watching National League, League Two, League One, it's quite obvious you need a blend.
Just going back on that, I mean, it just looks to me as though we're just blatantly missing any defensive midfield players. It's like the Alamo running onto the back four all the time, and yet the back four are getting taken apart, and you know, there's 40, 50 yard gaps. All of a sudden on Saturday, those gaps are gone. We've got an extra midfield player, but we're carrying on without it previously for nearly 2 seasons.
I actually, it's good that you say that, to be fair, because we did come under pressure late in the game of the weekend, and we obviously sat off, but it's important that the players are fitter, because then we can squeeze the pitch up. I think that doesn't come from the holding midfield, that comes from the defence dropping off, being nervous when you're under pressure. Listen, the holding mid here is probably one of the best midfielders in the league, to be fair. So
just a final point of recruitment, because obviously you've signed another player today. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, Zach. So Zach was an under-18 player at West Brom, then went into the 23s, then got good valuable league experience with Lincoln and Bolton, and then he's gone out to Sweden, where he's been performing at a high level. Obviously within football, there's changes of managers, there's changes of opinions. From the years, you know, that we've all been involved in football, you stay in touch with people, you know people. What he does bring is pace. He's very quick, he's very direct, he moves with the ball very quickly. He's not, it sounds a bit silly, when he runs with the ball he actually dribbles at pace, so he'll buy fouls, he'll move you up the pitch very quickly, similar to how Glatzel played at the weekend. We want to be able to be a team that can transition quickly in the pitch and turn defence into attack, and Zach will definitely bring that for us.
Okay, I think we're time for a break, and then we'll come back with more questions. And we've had plenty of questions so far. There are loads more still to come. So time for a quick break, I think.
Thank you, Vic.
How many will they want in a
Right, guys, if you can take your seats, please, up at the top table. All right, guys.
Calm down now, calm down, please. Calm down.
Calm down, calm down. Just before we start, obviously, most of the questions are going to be aimed at the gaffer and Clem and that. So we will touch base with the ladies, women's football, Mandie. Richard's just leaving, he's got to go training, so thanks for coming in, Rich. They will be on the sofa, I think, with Vic to applaud their successes, but tonight, maybe for tonight, we need to stick to something you probably want us to do. So, but we're going to take questions from the floor. So, anybody, we have nothing at this end, so if you've got a question...
Hang on, I'll go on over in the corner.
You go, Vic?
Yeah, I'm on my way, so bear with me. I'll try not to get feedback from the speaker. You anywhere near a speaker, Mitch? No?
Is the question for an individual or just in general?
The left-hand side of the top table.
Our left.
The main question for me is, have you got the right people behind the scenes? Because everything you say there's an error it's an admin error. It's an admin error. June late payment, October late payment overdue 39 days. Before June, none of this happened. Your staff changed in June. Do we really have competent people within the business, running the business?
Yes, I believe we do have the competent people, but we make mistakes, so we need to rectify those. And we need to work out the process and the procedures. The problem is, there's no processes and procedures that we need to implement these processes and procedures so that human error doesn't happen. So and we have the issues as well in other businesses, but we need to make sure that we put processes and procedures in place.
But with the old finance director and the old CEO, none of these errors seem to happen or seem to come to light. Only seems to be with the new people.
I'm not going to comment on the previous people. Look, there's faults in everybody at the end of the day. So.
Good question, no, good question, and well answered. Thank you. Next one, anybody else?
Have you got some other process in place that works then? These people leave and then your process falls apart, is that right?
Hang on, we've got one over here.
Yeah, just... Okay.
Hello, chaps. Looking at the slideshow, and we're still talking, obviously, the roadmap, cut run, promotion, all this kind of stuff. And we still got promotion to League One on there. As optimistic as I am in Gav's skills and the boys we got there, can we stop? Can we be realistic now and just say, look, it's not probably winding up in this season.
You said, I think to paraphrase, you said it's not going to happen this season. Is that what you said?
Yeah, is there going to be a new roadmap that's a bit more aligned with where we are and what we want to do and our scouting and how we do things now?
But if we don't push for promotion, we're never going to get there. If you don't believe, you're never going to get there. I'll tell you that now. So if we just give up now, we've got 51 points. Why would I do that? It's like just immediate defeat.
And Gav, you must be, obviously, the question there, it brings you into it because you're the manager. So is he saying that maybe we're not good enough? Or, I think we've got good players, we believe in you, we've brought some players in. Let's get behind them, we've got to give them a chance, surely.
I think the positivity levels have got to come up. I think obviously everyone's in the doldrums a bit, the form's been awful, whatever, everything's rubbish, this, that. Everyone just gets in that mindset of negativity and you just drag everything down. But if you come with a positive mindset, it can soon flip round. Listen, at this level, you win 4 games in a row, You go from being 14th in the league to like 8th. Then you lose. Listen, you're not going to win every game at this level. You lose one, you might win two. I think it's just being consistent with what you're doing at the training ground. Performance levels on a Saturday, I think, are key. Listen, you're going to play really well at times when you're going to get beat. That'll happen. You might play rubbish and win a game, but at the end of the day, there's no point in playing. Is there any point? Should we just stop playing now?
I think that's not.
I think there's 17 games left.
Now?
There's 17 games left.
It's bonkers. Why would he do that? What's that? How have I killed the club? How have I killed the club? Hang on, let me finish, right? I've paid £8 million in debt. Let me finish. £8 million in debt. We've bought the ground with the supporters. Right, 50-50. That no other club in England has got. 50-50 with the supporters. So this ground will always be here for another 100 years. You can shake your head, right? But we've bought the ground. We said we're going to buy the ground. 2.5 years we bought it in less than 2 years. We've bought this ground. There's been no investment in this ground for 2 years, for 25 years, right? This club has not been run properly for 20 years. That's why we're still in League 2 and 1. If you want to get up this league, you need to change your mindset. You need to work hard and you need to all work together. If we all work together, we will get out of this league. This town, Swindon Town, should be in the fucking Championship or Premier League, not in League 2 or 1. You can shake your head. We're not going to fix this. We're not going to fix this in a matter of minutes. It's not going to be fixed in a matter of minutes. Mandie's done a great job on the women's. The academy has been unbelievable. We beat Man United 2-0. Right. 2 years ago, we lost 9-0 to some other club. We beat Man United because of the mindset, because we wanted to win. If you don't want to win and you want to give up, you don't want to. You will not get here. Listen to me. Right? You can have all the negativity, but if you want positivity and you want to get out of this thing, you've got to change your mindset. I'll tell you that now. Right? This club is better than what we are. You can say what you want. Right? We're busting our ass. These people are busting their ass. We're going to the supporters clubs, the supporters trust. Every month we sit down with all the supporters and we sit down. If you actually read the minutes, which you probably don't, right, you don't read it. Why don't you read the minutes and find out what we do? Because no other chairman would sit there and sit down an advisory board meeting once a month. Right? I sit here, listen, have I made mistakes? Absolutely. But I had 3 days or this club would have gone broke. I'll tell you that now. Right? I see how important it is for the community and for Swindon Town to get this club out of here, to get it out of the leagues.
You mentioned the supporters trust. You called them liars twice publicly. Why don't
I haven't called anyone liars. I speak to the supporters trust all the time. That's bollocks.
I mean, listen.
Well, show me. Tell me when we said I called them liars.
Clem, I think if that ain't passion for a football club, I don't know what is for one. And two, you don't get a chairman put himself in the firing line of you guys. He doesn't need to be here. You know, he's here because he wants to make this club better. And we all do, and you do, I do. And we think we're on the right path.
I don't want to be in this league as much as you guys. I don't want to be there. Look.
Hold on, we're going to have to, let's get a question. Let's get a question.
I don't want to hear.
Let's run it for it. Come on. Come on.
Clem, and can I just ask you straight out, have you got enough money for us to be competitive, not a Wrexham or a Stockport, but to sustain us, because we've all been at games where we've had 2 senior players on the bench and 5 youth team players. You talk about a competitive budget. Is that really the case? Because it seems to a lot of fans that we've struggled a lot this year in terms of our subs. And
yeah, when you're talking competitive budget, that includes a lot of revenue that comes in. So unless Clem puts money into this football club through his business, or he creates a fake business, what a lot of owners do, then that's what budgets are inflated. So all of these clubs that we're talking about, they are literally like run by other money, not what the club is doing. So the way our budget gets competitive is from commercial revenue, which we do, which we're currently about 1.1 million, which is one of the top 4 in the division. We do get the average crowd of 8,500, I will give you that, but the average ticket price needs to go up, and that's why it needs to be reflected in. We're going to drop the ticket price and try and stop the people coming in on the tickets which have already been identified, people coming in on children's tickets as adults. So we've had to stop that. And that's how you get to a competitive budget, is by the money that you come in. So basically Wrexham, as we've said, 27 million, which is from Netflix. We're not going to get that, sorry, with Disney or whatever it's on. But when you look at the other clubs, we are getting towards that competitive budget, which I said is added by getting commercial revenue up, keeping the gates high, but the rest of it is a false economy. All these other clubs, like they are all around the same figure. And I know Michael, like the previous manager from my time at Newport, we had 10 first team players out a few weeks ago, and that's happened to other clubs. The other club I worked for, Newport, a few weeks ago, they had 11 players out. They had kids on the bench. So it's not just Swindon Town, it's League 2, and that's due to basically the rules now that you have to play more first team players in the cup games as well, where other teams used to play. So I get what you're saying, but like as just not my commercial head and a football head as well, the reason we had the injuries is because we were playing too many games, and that's not a Premier League cliche. That's what's happening across the board. And you have a look at a lot of clubs, it's not just Swindon that's saying that. So it's we have to get the revenue up, pay off the existing debts, and then the budget will go up. But our budget isn't much lower than anyone else's. It's only your top 5 that are being bankrolled by other people that the difference is, and every other club will tell you that.
I think James, I don't know, I might be way off the mark here, but Paolo Di Canio, £4.75 million player budget, he pulls out. The chairman and Habib and Andrew Appelay, we're still suffering, in my opinion, from that. Trying to reduce the budget back down to this level. You can't sustain a budget like that in this division. So almost £5 million they had. Paolo, I think he brought in 50 players. Played in one game, said he's crap, get rid of him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was fun. But look at the aftermath we had to pick up with, and that's still being filtered back down the tree to Clem. Do you know what I mean? So you can't just say, give him £5 million. It's not necessarily the answer. Right, if you've got a serious question, we're going to come to you now. Don't mess it up.
Phil, can I come back on
I'll come to you now, right? Don't let me down. Go on, carry on.
Just on the season tickets, you know, there's so many people in this room, I'm sure, who are season ticket holders like myself. We want to see a vision from you. Mr. Hall, I think your comments were ill-judged when you talked about season ticket holders. Now, the lifeblood of this football club, you know, we part with our hard-earned money every summer, and we want to see a vision. What's the vision for next year and beyond, please?
Well, Anthony, do you want to let's address the, if I might use the word, freeloader comments, which I don't think the word freeloader was ever used because I did that interview. But if you'd like to address that right now and talk to a lot of people in this room who are season ticket holders, what would you like to say?
Yeah, I think my comments were poorly administered and said, and I do agree with what the guy said. You guys are the life and soul of the football club. My frustration is across the whole revenue, looking at it since I've come in and trying to get the revenues right. I used a poor example, I shouldn't have used that, and I was wrong. I do apologise for that. I'm sincerely sorry for that. And
I think we've got one bit. I'm taking risk in life and limb here. Go on.
So firstly, just before I ask the question, I think we should put a bit of respect on Nigel Eadie's name when we're talking about the ground, because it was gifted, it wasn't brought. Let's get that straight. And so, in your presentation, you mentioned the Karachi project. That's a project you've initially said was part of the club. Then you said it was nothing to do with the club. Today we're saying it is part of the club. Can you just tell the truth and tell us what's going on there? Because the club doesn't exist, right? It's not a real club.
It is a real club, but listen, I didn't understand it before. I had a meeting with Alex Pike regarding it, which I did a couple of weeks ago, so he's got more of the details. But we're looking at other academies as well, because obviously Gav, Jamie and Bailey came to Australia. We went down to Australia and we had a look at the academies there. So there is a few players, but Alex can talk about the Karachi.
I don't mind talking about it at all, and I don't mind talking about the personal experiences that I had when I went out there, culturally, what I learned, being able to go and experience a different way of living. Now, the vision of that previously was to identify talent. Now, that was what was put out there. What we're doing currently in-house is we're actually reflecting, looking at, and trying to understand what success looks like around that project. Now, I know there's a lot of opinions around it, but linked in with the international academy stuff, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create partnerships across the world, including still in Karachi, to bring exposure and to bring experiences. So how we're looking to do that is linking in with a potential new club there. It is an established club, and it is the club, if you search Karachi, that is the only club in Karachi. So not something that's made up, not something that's been kind of put together to try and identify talent. So now, what we're looking to do with that is try and create experiences and create exposures through that link, through tours or through player exchange or through coach exchange, to try and do similar sort of things that I've seen and that I've experienced myself. So I think it's important that we talk about that and clear that up, and it's not potentially what everybody wants to think it is.
Thank you.
Go on. Yeah, go on.
The club are spending money on that project, right?
No.
So who's funding it?
Sav. So that is something that that is something that no money has come out of the football club for that, but we. There's also funding in there around the Premier League as well, so linking in with the PFA, who someone named Riz, who represents the PFA in South Asian inclusion within football. No, it doesn't. No,
I think you've got to look further afield for talent as well, haven't you? Aussie, Karachi, everything. You've got to. Well, I mean, you're just picking on him. You know what I mean? He's answered the question.
No.
You know, and he said the Premier League is funded. Listen, okay, no, fuck it. Anybody else?
Hang on, I'll go over the corner. Yeah, anybody else? Let's have a look.
I love your passion, boys.
Can I ask Gavin about the Australian, because you went over to Australia recently, didn't you? So let's have a word about that as well.
Yeah, it wasn't just me. I think Jamie and Bailey have been to Australia as well. Fantastic life experience. Learned a lot. Yeah, hopefully we can start our academy out there soon. Project going forward would be fantastic.
Thanks. David Coe, you look like you wanted to say something. That gentleman there.
Okay.
Sorry.
Rude.
This is an additional question the gentleman asked earlier, but I think we're all concerned about, particularly on Mr. Flynn, is the fact that the squad was so thin. And it's still thin now, and you're getting more players in, but the argument may be you need at least 2 more, and we've all discussed about taller players, whatever, but for what we want to achieve, and I think we're all thinking the squad is too thin to get there. Now, I understand where Clem's coming from, but we do need 2, 3 more players. Are you going to get them in before Thursday night?
Yes. Yeah, we are. That's what we're doing.
We are.
Yes, we're doing that now. Speaking to Gavin, speaking to Jamie, yes, we are doing that.
And like I said, it isn't easy getting players. It's not a magic wand. You know, say, oh, you want to come here. There's so, honestly, you don't believe players' mentality about playing football. You get ones that would love to play, you get others that can't be asked. They're just happy to stay at home with the missus. Honestly.
Oh, the realism is we signed Paul Glatzel. Listen, that's when you see Glatzel, you're going to be like, wow, that's a wow factor, that player, like 100%. Yeah. We would have never signed him without the people we got working at the club. That's just a realism. He's like, he trained with Liverpool's first team, everything. That's
until he get picked up his injury, gathers.
Exactly, like he was expected to be the big thing at Liverpool. Unfortunately for him, fortunately for us, he's had a couple of bad injuries. He's got himself back fit, and he's far above this level.
Yeah.
Okay, another question.
Sorry. Can I just add on that?
Sorry.
Just around the January transfer window, it's when you're at home and you're playing Championship Manager or Football Manager and anything like that. The game's really simple because they're just names on a database, and you just move them and you just change them around. But unfortunately, like me, Gav, the rest of the staff, we deal with real people, and they've got families and they've got children. And January is a really, really difficult window because you're moving dad halfway through a season. So there's a lot of things that are around the person that we talked about at the start. We're not also, you know, partners and different things like that. We had a player recently whose partner is an influencer. So for him to come, we had to buy a house just for that person or an apartment. And there was about 100 specifications that came with this player, and nothing was actually about football. So for us, straight away, we're like, well, do you want to be a footballer and do you want to continue your career here? And pretty much very quickly we were like, no, you don't. Now, we could have bent over backwards to this Premier League player and done everything which they probably had all their life, but actually we know what we want here, and like we talked about with the DNA and what we're going after. So there's no point wasting time on it, because we want players that are going to come here and actually play for the club. Now, and some of those boys have made a huge sacrifice. They've moved from the northwest, they've moved from Sweden, left their partner over in Sweden, and they've come here because they want to play football, they want to represent the club, and they want to make themselves better and the club better.
Yeah, but there's an indication how hard it is to get players to play. Question, sir?
Read the embargo and the admin. What's been put in place between now and the summer to ensure the window in the summer is left open and we don't shut it?
All gate levies, etc., HMRC, everything is now completely logged automatically, so that the payments cannot be miscalculated. Previously they wasn't.
So can you confirm categorically there'll be no more errors between now and the summer?
Listen, we're all human, but there shouldn't be no going forward. No, definitely not.
Okay, any more? Let's hang on. Let's make my way. Don't fall over. Phil, is that all right?
I was just going to pick up on HMRC. I was going to write a cheque for the club, but I don't think I can do that. Don't fancy 23 days in Crank Court again. But what's no question?
A couple of years ago, getting back to when it was COVID, just like to say that the fans actually donated their money. This is one for Anthony about the free games. Fans actually put their money in that season was wiped. They put their money in. So that's just what I like to say. That the fans, hard-earned, paying money. We didn't see no football. It was a tough time, but they have bent over backwards to support Clem. We appreciate what you guys are doing, but it was a little bit of a bad. That was a bad. You got off a bad mark there.
He's apologised for that, though. He knows he made a mistake.
We'd just like to say that the lads really supported you, and we got behind you and all that, and that was an insult to a lot of people in this room.
And we apologise for that. And listen, without the supporters, this club's nothing. I'll tell you that now. Without your support, we haven't got a football club. And we need to make sure that we look after you guys to make sure that you support this club.
100%. Sir.
Hello. Hang on, whilst Phil is making his way slowly, the other side of him.
Hiya.
Stand up. Oh, you are.
Cheers, Phil. You're the same height as me. What's that about? That's the belly as well. I think it was said that the running cost of the club is about $8.5 million a year to run, which is extraordinary for this level. 2 questions, by the way. How are the club looking to bring this down? Because it's a lot. That's unsustainable completely. Oh, my second question is concerning the debenture. Is it Lee Power and Eddie Curran? Obviously bought it off.
Andrew Black.
Yeah, Andrew Black. And they gave us, gave you 3 days to pay it? Legally, is that possible? Are they allowed to do that?
Oh no, good question. So, picking up on the first one, $8.5 million.
So in terms of the running cost, obviously you'll pick up the comments I spoke about on the Sofa podcast. It wasn't $8.5 million, I said, but we're going to bring in fair game just to come through and verify all the figures, as Clem was saying earlier, to make sure that everything is ratified, so there's no disparity going forward. You guys are clear, independently verified, and the figures come out and are published correctly, so you guys can actually see it, warts and all, everything that we are including in the running cost of the football club. because you're quite right, 8.5 million. It was 8.2, I think I said, but so it is gone up from where we were back in the 21-22 accounts, and that's what we need to get verified to understand where we are and look at every revenue stream, as you said, to make sure we make this club sustainable.
We'll take one from down here if we could. Vic, sir, let me see if I can get there.
Good evening, gentlemen. Scott Twine, a very good asset that we raised for this club, is now on his umpteenth club since he left this club. Have we received full value for him from his transfer fees?
Have we received full value? Obviously that question will come back. Yeah, 3 days to pay, it was unfair, but Scott Twine's moved on. I think he said, have we received full fair payments from him?
Yeah, we have received the money.
And the question again, just 3 days
The
to
3
pay that?
days, the debenture got triggered, and we got the lawyers to check to make sure, and they could put a wind-up notice on us in 3 days. So I had to come up with 3 million quid.
In 3 days?
Correct.
There was no debenture.
Yes,
that
there
was
was.
originally Andrew Black and Martin Habib's debt.
Yeah, and Lee Power and Andy Curran bought it off Andrew Black
There
and
was
Lee.
no agreement found in the club for the year previous accounts. That's why the figures were they had to put net book value, net present value.
Not Black or Habib's.
That only happens when there's no document.
There's a debenture that was from Andrew Black and Martin R.B.
Who at the club signed the debenture then?
What's that, sorry? It
Who
was
at
on the
club
company's
signed that
house.
debenture? Andrew Black wrote off £10 million.
What was that, sorry?
Andrew Black wrote off £10 million.
And he had a £2.95 million debenture on the club. Right, which got triggered if of getting the championship, or there was a HMRC arrangement, or the club got sold.
Yes,
Right.
agreed.
So Lee Power and Andy Curran went to Andrew Black and said he's going to buy it, and he sold it. And you can verify that with some of the people here. So then they bought it, and they said to us, "You got 3 days to pay it, or we're going to put the club in admin." Do you think I really wanted to pay £2.95 million?
But Clem, before Howard, we had Jed McCrory and his bunch of associates, and they bought the club. They bought the club from RB, didn't they?
Yeah, for £1.
Yeah. And
And then he sold all the players that we had.
They sold it to Howard.
Yeah, they went to. I think they went to court for it.
Let's go back a bit further, a bit hillier. How far are we going to go back?
No, we've got one over here.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Clem. Okay, I've got a child that's the beneficiary of this great club that's represented amongst one of the teams that was on the board tonight. And it's superb, the wider stuff that's going on in the background. It sort of feels like 2 steps forwards with Gav coming in and trying to move things on, 1 step back a little bit on the admin side, and it feels like a lot of the angst in the room is more around the background and the communication that goes on around that. And perhaps a comment that if the commercial side, which you rightly echo, is so critical to running the club, perhaps there needs to be a little bit more exposure or scrutiny around that. Maybe non-executive directors or supporters trusts that come on board. Now, taking accountability as director on a club like this with a background, you probably it might be a quiet room if you ask them to put people's hands up, but it feels like you need to get some more observation of the background of the business to make sure these mistakes can't happen, because the impact right now on the embargo is a consequence of the admin, and there's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You know, you can do something about that. You've got multi-million-pound businesses going on. That'd be my opinion.
I totally agree. Look, we need to be better. We need to be better on communication, commercial. But yes, we make mistakes, so we're still trying to clean up the mess. But yeah, I totally agree with you. We need to be better. We need to be better on communication as well.
Vic, you've got
I'm going to the far side of the room, sir. What is your question?
Hi there, Clem.
Earlier on today, as part of the charge, it was announced that the club is potentially being made available for sale, and that this charge could potentially be a consequence to potential buyers. But how come last week during the media day you said that the club wasn't for sale? Why is the change of stance?
I think he said the club's not for sale, but everything's for sale. You know, and he has said if somebody can come in with more money and make the club better, he would move aside. I think that's what he said. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, he is going to now. Yeah.
The club's not for sale, but like I said before, if someone comes up to you and say, I'm going to buy your house for £10 million, you'll probably sell it. Correct? But I'm a businessman at the end of the day. If someone can come here and has got more money than me and run the club a lot better and get it better, I'll sit down and listen to it, but it's not for sale. But if someone comes up to me, no one's able to come up to me. Look, there's a lot of people saying they want to buy the club. Like I hear a lot of rumours on saying people want to buy the club, but no one's come to me.
Do you think it's an attractive club to buy at the moment with all the baggage that's coming with it? Do you think people look at this club and think, yeah, I'll take it?
It wasn't attractive when Clem bought it, was it?
It wasn't attractive when I bought it, trust me. I couldn't do any due diligence on the club, right? I didn't realise there was so much debt. I was in court with Lee Powell for 2.5 years. So there was we've just bought the ground. We've got rid of all the debt. We've got a women's team, we've got a great academy, we've got a good staff. There was no processes and procedures when I got here. Tell you that now.
Martin Palmer. Good evening. I'd like to acknowledge the sort of frustration in the room tonight, but I'd also like us all to sort of cast our minds back a couple of years and say, if Clem didn't take us over, so firstly my question to Clem is, in hindsight, what you know now would you have taken over? And also, realistically, what were our options at the time?
Would I have taken over? Look, I didn't realise there was £4.5 million debt with £2.95 million dementia. Would I have taken over? I don't know. Couldn't answer that question, to tell you the truth. Do I regret buying the club? No. I like the town, regardless of all the stuff that people are saying about me. I'm working hard for the club, putting all the effort in, put the money in. Look, have I made mistakes? Absolutely. Right, I'm not shying away from that. Did I make any mistakes? Absolutely. But I'm facing the music. I'm here. Right, I've been here for 6 weeks, and I'll cop any flack that I need to. I haven't got a problem with that. But no, I don't. Look, the club was in a mess. I'll tell you that now. We had 6 players. We had no kit. We had council that wanted to sue us. We had HMRC that wanted to sue us. We had Puma deals that we're looking at. Yeah, it was a mess, but I don't regret it. Far from it.
Phil? Yeah, the question is there.
Hi Clem. On the transfer embargo, Glatzel and Bycroft were disclosed as undisclosed fee. Is that true? Because that means you have to pay a fee. Now, if we was under a transfer embargo, we'd only get him on loan.
So with both of those players, we took over their contracts.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that's one of the things. So obviously, for me, I've been aware of this possible embargo, but until the EFL actually come out, we've been constantly day to day with the EFL, finding out where we stand, what we can do. Now, we could have just sat back for a whole month and done nothing and had no new players in, or we could have been proactive, been adventurous, creative, found different ways to get players in on loans, taking over contracts and carrying them on. So the permanent signings that we've managed to bring into the club, we've worked bloody hard to get them in, but they're ours now and they're an asset to the club.
Most of the signings are actually loans, but on the BBC website it said undisclosed, which I thought Swindon paid a fee for it.
No.
No, okay.
Are these players' contracts for next season?
Yeah, we've got the option on their contract, yeah.
Right, so they're on contract until the end of the season, and we have an option on their
We
contract.
have, yeah.
Okay, do you want to ask a question, sir?
So obviously we're in the situation we're in now.
Clem, when you go back to Australia, can we have an assurance that we're going to have the communication that you're promising? Obviously, we had a few months where we didn't hear anything at all, essentially. We heard nothing really coming out of the club. So we want to have that reassurance that we're going to hear stuff, have regular updates, and not just through kind of advisory board meetings. We're talking proper updates as to what's going on, because I think that's what we all want as well.
Yes, you will get updates. We're going to do probably a video once a month, explain what we're doing. I'm not going to be away for that long, but obviously I do have another job as well. I run my businesses in 4 other countries, so I do spend a lot of time on it. But yeah, we're going to do that. Our communication need to do better. Look, I'm on the advisory board meetings. I know you said more than the advisory board meetings, but yeah, our communication, we need to do our communication a lot better than what we're doing at the moment.
Yeah, we're always happy to have you on, the Clem, of course, on the sofa whenever you want to. Simple as that, really. Or anyone from the club. Yes.
This lady, what about the question for the lady? Come on.
Just to let everybody know.
Oh.
Because you can pick this up from Company's House. Swindon Town had a debt of over £13 million in May 20. And it's now come down to 7. If you look at the accounts, you'll see that.
Okay. Well, we've got a question this end from the lady, Mandie.
When do you potentially see the with the car parking right down the bottom and the car in Switzerland going to be resolved? Is there a date, like time frame to when?
Depends on what the lawyers. I wish I could, but yeah, I don't have an answer. I thought it would have been done by now, but it keep going. Like it does cost the club, but the thing is, with the car washing at the front there, they're suing us for loss of income, right? Because Lee Power gave them a lease, right? So now we're batting that off. They're claiming hundreds of thousands of pounds from the club, which, look, I never signed a lease. I'm just trying to bat it off. So the lawyers, we're fighting that back and forth, but I can go and pay 100 grand, or do I go and fight the fight, which I'm going to fight the fight.
Okay, got one over here.
Another lady. Oh, hello, my love.
I want to ask a question in terms of Zav Austin. Can you confirm if Zav Austin takes any money or any of his business associates or people associated with him out of the club?
Zav Austin's a friend of mine. Zav Austin doesn't take any money from this club, I'll tell you that now. He got me the club, regardless of what his background or his past history. Zav Austin's a friend of mine, and that's what he is at the end of the day. Look, I don't care what people do, what they've done in their past, and I'm sure that people in this room that have got past. But I'm not here to criticise people, what they've done. And Zav Austin's a friend of mine, and he's taken no money out of the club, and Fair Game can vouch for that. So they can go through all the figures. We had the Supporters Trust going through all the figures as well. So, and I don't have a problem with anyone coming in and checking the books.
What is he actually doing in Pakistan, and what's it all about? If he's not part of the club, why is he over there doing that?
Well, I can't answer that. Look, he does, but he's not part of the football club. He doesn't get any money from the football club.
They didn't say money, but he's over there in this football club's name, doing other jobs over there.
No, he's a friend of mine. He's got no title here.
They've got the Swindon Town badge on their kit. Yeah, that's Swindon Town. Zav Austin is using Swindon Town as leverage in Karachi. You know he should be in a football club. He can't pass the proper test.
He's not part of it. He's a friend of mine. He got me the club. When he got me the club...
Maybe he's your friend, but is Zav Austin using Swindon Town for leverage in Karachi?
No.
Using Swindon Town?
No.
So why is the Karachi club got Swindon Town kits on?
Because we've got an agreement with... Alex Pike's been there.
Okay. Let's have another. I've got another subject here, please. Because hang on a minute. Let somebody else have a say, please. Come on.
Has the Michael Flynn sacking cost the club?
Has the Michael Flynn sacking cost the club, I think was.
Yeah, I
that's,
think you mean in competition, that kind of thing. Yeah.
No, he's got an agreement in his contract, so it's like every manager, everyone's got an agreement in their contract. And when you terminate a manager, they get their payout.
Question at the back of the room, Vic?
Yeah, I'm just going to make, actually, Gavin, I was going to ask you a question, because all your games so far have been at home, haven't they? So how do you approach an away game as opposed to a home game? Just when I make my way over there slowly, if that's all right.
Yeah, good question. I think it's about being adaptable. I think you can't just go away from home, be gung-ho.
Can you let him answer, please? Thank you.
No one heard the question, I don't think. No, listen, obviously it's about having a game plan. You can't be just gung-ho at this level away from home. You've got to show the opponent respect. I think, like our opponents on Saturday, Newport, you've seen they played one of the elite teams in this country and they gave them a game. Listen, it could have been 5-0 at the start, but they come back into the game 2-2. Man United won it in the end, but I think away from home we'll show more respect to the opponent. I don't think when we're here we'll obviously get after teams and play high tempo and whatever. We'll transition quickly into attack, but it will be more solid behind the ball, I think, to be honest.
Well, we wish you all Saturday, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Come on! It's a football club, you're going to say. Get behind your team.
First of all, thank you very much for giving up your time to come and speak to everybody. I think everybody's very grateful. It's a question for the manager. I was wanting to know about the sort of in-game data analysis that you have at the moment and whether you think that's an avenue that could benefit the team going forward.
What aspect of it?
What exactly that you do? I mean, I sit up in the back of the Don Rogers, so it's interesting to see the laptops out, how they're analysing the game. I was wondering how you think that could benefit the team.
Yeah, obviously, listen, if you don't put your homework in, you don't get results. If I think I come back here after training every day, watch a training back, see what players are getting bad habits, where they can improve. It's not just a thing that happens overnight. You don't see the hours that get put into it. Players have IDP plans to improve themselves as players, individuals. We're trying to turn it into a learning environment where it's open and players are transparent as well, and they can evolve into something better. And hopefully, listen, obviously Swindon's a big club, but they want to see themselves taking that next level, whether it's with us or without us. There's some proper prospects in the squad now, and I think a lot of assets at the club now.
Thank you. I think we've got one here. Vic?
Yeah, we'll give it another 5 minutes and then we'll...
Vic.
What?
Just a couple of platforms that we use, Huddle. So if you see it being filmed from the back of the stand, it's being streamed live onto an iPad right in front of Gav. So if there's anything that happens in the game, they can see it directly, they can rewind, fast forward, so they can keep up with play. So if there's like a decision or a goal we've conceded or something, a pattern of play that they've been working on in the week, they'll be able to see that coming to life. So at half time, it allows a couple of minutes just to compose, let everyone settle down, but then go in and give actually direct information about something that's just happened, because they can actually show the players back. And as well as that, there's the live GPS. So Kyler and the S&C team will be able to see exactly how much, in terms of total load, high intensity load and all that, has been actually given out within the first half and the second half, and then literally within probably 30 minutes after the game, there's a full report that's done, and that's done for training as well. And now we've got a drone this season that's recording training. So again, it allows us to see everything, full-size pitch, patterns of play, and so it represents exactly what it on the training pitch. It represents exactly the same on the county ground.
Okay, so with the magnificent Liam, what's your question?
Hello, thank you for giving us your time for all this. This is for you guys. It's just a bit of clarification follow on from Ben's, and I'm not trying to be particularly antagonistic. You say about the fair game coming in. Have you got any time frame of when they are actually coming in? And do you have any other ways before they come in that you are going to reduce those running costs down?
Firstly, I spoke to Fair Game before Christmas, so they're going to be coming in the next couple of months to go through the figures and verify where we are in terms of running costs, etc. So the second part of the question, sorry?
Do you have, in the meantime, do you have any ideas of how you are going to bring that down?
At the moment, we're just looking at every single revenue stream to try and increase the revenue and maximise where we can. we always look at running costs to see where we can save. Everything's looked at on a daily basis at the moment until we get hold of it and really start looking into it and drilling into where we are.
I think we're getting near that time where we pull it down. I think we need to get the last question for the gaffer.
Hang on, there's a point behind you.
Point behind me? This gentleman, yes sir.
It was just following on the previous question actually. Will we get to see the results for Fair Game? You know, when they're in, you know, is there going to be some sort of statement that's going to come out or anything like that we know what the plan is going forward?
Fair Game produced a full report in terms of what they come and find right the way through the club.
Do we see that?
Similar to what you should do, yeah, similar to what Norwich City and Exeter have done, in that similar sort of vein as it's reported.
Right, going to finish with the gaffer. Give us some positive thoughts, gaffer, before Saturday's game and what you're looking to finish the season strong. Now you've got a few new recruits and possible couple more players coming in. So from your aspect, how are you seeing the remainder of the season panning out?
Yeah, positively. Listen, we got tough fixtures, but in League 2 anybody can beat anyone. I think it's instilling that mindset of positivity always. I've seen it most seasons where there's always a team who comes late, and I don't see why that can't be us this season. I think we've got 17 games left. If we win 8, 9 of them games, I'd imagine that we'll be close to the playoffs, to be honest. I think everybody beats everyone in this league. The top teams, obviously, you've got your Stockies, Wrexhams, Mansfields, they are where they are, but the other teams, they all beat each other, so I don't see why that can't be us getting there at the end of the season.
Brilliant. I think, we can all agree, given up their time, it's not easy. We've had some questions. Thanks, lads. I know you're passionate, I can see it in you. But we are Swindon fans. Whatever's going on behind, when them lads are on that pitch, can we get behind the team? That's all I'm asking for you guys. Is that all right? It's not a lot to ask. We love our club. But can I have a round of applause for our top table, please?
And also, can we wish Alex and the academy team on Friday night all the very best against Sunderland?
Yes.
They were magnificent against Manchester United. Send them off with your best wishes.
Thank you guys. Thanks for coming.
And don't forget, you can watch the Friday night game against Sunderland.